to Gigi's Beauty Compound. Today we have another great episode where I'm going to help out some of you service providers, giving you a little bit of information on how you can ease on into your license. You guys ready? I hope you are. As always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ding that notification button. So today we are going to be discussing how you as a licensed professional can transfer your license to another state. Let me start off by saying I'm going to share a little background of, where I came from, just in case you guys forgot. A little story time, and then I'll go ahead and share the information with you guys. Is that okay? Okay, great. So, when I decided to move from the state of Illinois to Georgia, at the time, I was simply certified, meaning I had completed all of my esthetician or aesthetic school hours. I had completed my school's school board. Now I have in the system that I am a certified esthetician with the state of Illinois. Now, unfortunately, because when I moved here, I pretty much had to start from scratch as far as finances, trying to find another, place of employment, stability as far as, new housing and etc. is concerned. I wanted to make sure that I had all of that stuff squared away before I was able to complete the process of my licensing, etc. So, speed up to a few years ago, I was like, okay, now I have the time, I have the stability. At the time, I was working a spa job where I was assisting, other estheticians, medical estheticians. I was doing male grooming services, just, kind of in assisting capacity, but still, being available, of course, for my colleagues and all of that great stuff. Now, in that transition, in order for me to be fully hands-on in my profession, of course, I had to complete my license. So, with the help of my family, I flew back to Chicago, took my Illinois State Board. Of course, I passed it. And then from there, I still had some more financial things that I had to take care of before I could move to the next phase. So after I, stacked some more finances, then I said, okay, now I can, work corporate for a couple of years, stack my finances, move to the next level of stability and etc. Now I can say I was ready to go to that next stage of fully diving into my passion and profession. Now, don't get me wrong. Between the time that I moved here and even up until today's date, I have been very privileged to be able to work in the beauty industry. I've done facials for reality TV shows. Just to name a few, I've been on Married to Medicine, Leave It to Stevie, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Little Miss Atlanta, just a few, of those shows that I was able to be a part of and providing, aesthetic services to the cast on TV. So basically, they wanted a spa scene. They came to my job at the time, filmed, and I was selected by the owner of the spa and my managers to be a part of those scenes. And I was able to do, like some body scrubs, some mini facials, things of that nature. Then, so, of course, after that, I was able to gain movie credits, which led to, as I mentioned in my previous video, me being able to continue to do background and extra work for an agency here in the state of Georgia. Awesome, right? I'm very thankful for those opportunities. So from there, I got a little more experience under my belt, And then I did corporate for a couple of years, as mentioned, just to kind of, stack some more of my finances, bring about some more stability to my living situation, and etc. And then I can honestly say today that my license is transferred, and now I can fully just really engulf myself in practicing aesthetics in the state of Georgia. Yay! So with that being said, I'm going to share with you guys the process, like the steps on how you go from being licensed in this state to being licensed in another state. First thing you want to do is contact your current state, the current state that you reside in. Google, for example, if you are here in Georgia, Google Georgia State Board. You can, give them a call and say, hey, where can I go on your website to send in my documentation to formally transfer my license from one state to the other? So the lovely people at Georgia State Board, their phone, service people, they provided me with the website, the Georgia State Board website, and where I can go to the actual link and section, which of course you want to print out, and it gives you a checklist of all of the documents that you're going to need to forward over to Georgia State Board so that you know what to expect. They're going to, of course, ask you for a copy of your current license from the previous state where you resided, a copy of your social security number, of course, your social security card, your driver's license, hours that you completed at your beauty, institute, wherever you attended. Just, some things to name a few. One of the most important documents that they ask for is a certified letter from your former state, just proving that, hey, you are actually licensed in that state. So those are just a few of the documents that they require you to physically mail in. Now, here is a very important thing. When you come to the page on the State Board website where you can print out the actual checklist, you want to, before you mail off any documentation, go through each of those lines of the checklist to make sure you have not missed any pages of the required documents that they ask you to mail in. If you so happen to miss any documents, and of course the money order. The money order currently is $75, so you want to make sure you have that money order completely filled out with your signature, all of the things that it asks for on that money order. Make sure you don't forget that as well, along with your documentation. They also ask you put all of those documents in your money order in kind of like a longer, letter envelope. So about, this wide, about this tall. And you can get that from the UPS store, Office Max, any of those stores would have them. But what can make it even more convenient for you is if you go ahead and go to the UPS store, you can do everything at the same time. So if you need the envelope, they'll have the required envelope that you need for those documents, because you don't want to mail in your documents bent or wrinkled or any of that. They cannot be folded. So that's why they ask you to send in that envelope where all of the documents can just slide right in and they are, straight when you mail them in. Another thing that's great is the UPS store actually can, put that stamp on the documents that the State Board requires as well. So that's a great thing, that notary stamp, that they require in one of the documents. You definitely want to make sure, don't forget to have them put that stamp on there, your money order, all of the other documents. And then, of course, you can have UPS to mail it. You want to make sure that you ask UPS, one of those, wonderful service people, that it is a certified mail. that it's sent certified mail. Because what you're going to do is when you fill out that little white and green card, they're going to put part of that on your envelope. The other part you keep because it has a tracking number on it. Very important, because then you can track, to see how long, or, how your package is progressing to, the Georgia State Board. Another thing you want to make sure is that you contact your current state board. Let them know that you are on a tight deadline and that you need your certified proof of licensure letter, which they can either mail to the current where you currently reside, that state board, or they can email it. You can do either or. Mailing it is fine as well, because you can still, kind of like email the former state and say, hey, I paid, like, for example, for me, for Illinois, the document request was like $25. So I requested it online on their Illinois financial regulation site, and then put in that request. They said sometimes it takes about a week, for them to send out that documentation. But you don't just sit there and wait. You want to call them, say, hey, time is of the essence. I need this document mailed ASAP. So always good to follow up with them to make sure you're staying on top of those things. Because at the end of the day, your license transfer is not just in their hands, but it's your responsibility and in your hands to make sure that they do it properly in the way that they're supposed to. So they send that documentation, the letter, certified letter, proof of licensure, they mail it to Georgia State Board, and then once the previous state says, yep, we sent it, you call the current state board and you say, hey, they said that they sent it, and then you should expect, depending on what state it's shipping from, it may take like 3 to 4 business days, but just stay on top of it, making sure that they received it. And then once they receive it, you can call and check and make sure that they have it, and then they upload it in the system, and then from there, you can print out your license. The great thing about the state of Illinois is I can actually stay licensed in both states. So as I travel home for, whatever reason, and someone, asks me to do a service or what have you, legally, it will not be an issue because I can continue to renew my license with the state of Illinois and the state of Georgia, which is pretty cool. Another thing is, from your previous state, you want to pay attention to the expiration date of your original license. Make sure it has not expired. Make sure it's not expiring within like a month or so, because typically that transfer process, depending on which state, can take 2 to 3 months for the entire process to be completed. So you don't want to be close to an expiration deadline, because by the time you've sent all of those documents in, you don't want to have to be delayed any further or possibly be denied for that transfer because you didn't do your due diligence in checking that expiration date. I'm sure you guys can understand that. So make sure your original license isn't expiring within like a month or so. And so that's pretty much it. That's the process and the steps on how you transfer your license from one state to the next. And this is pretty much the same process if you are a cosmetologist or barber. But of course, because I'm a licensed esthetician, I'm going to mention the aesthetics. But yes, under Georgia State Board, you are under the cosmetology and barber licensure. You're still going to say aesthetics as the type of license, but as far as the branch, you fall under the cosmetology and barber license. It's just as far as like I mentioned, the branch of the heading of, the department, so to speak, that your license is under. Not that you're a licensed cosmetologist or barber, but just the department that it falls under. So when you're looking on that Georgia State Board website, if you're getting licensed in this state, that's what you're going to look for. It's not going to say aesthetics. It's going to say cosmetology and barber. But as long as you properly put esthetician on your paperwork, you're fine. If you guys have any questions for me about my process of transferring, the license and everything, feel free to ask in the comment section. I don't mind answering you guys' questions. I love to hear your feedback, your jokes, your support. I absolutely love that. So please don't hesitate if you have any questions about the process. If you so happen to be working for like corporate America or in another capacity as your license is being transferred, what you don't want to do is just up and quit your current job without any proper notification. Here's why. It's very tempting to do that because you're excited. You're like, yes, all my paperwork is done. I'm licensed now in this state. I can go about my business and do whatever I want to do, of course, within the laws and guidelines, of course. But you don't want to do that. Reason being, you want to give a proper 2-week notice at your current job because you don't want to put a bad taste or an unprofessional image in the minds of your former employer. With myself and others being in the beauty profession, you never know who your current or future clients are going to be. You don't know if your former manager or your former HR rep or whomever may ask you to help them with a corporate event where they may hire you or the spa that you work for to come in and provide services. You don't know if, a former employer is going to walk into the spa where you work now and ask for services and see you there and give a bad review because of how you left their place, of employment. So you always want to stay professional. Even as, you're being elevated and everything is working out in your favor and all that is wonderful, but you still want to be responsible. You always want to be professional because in this industry, your reputation and your good name means a lot. It definitely means a lot, and you want to stay in good standing wherever you left, unless it's just a heinous situation where you have to jump ship immediately, where there's like abuse or theft or that type of thing. That's different. I'm referring to you leaving a professional atmosphere, going into another professional atmosphere. So everyone, that's it for me. Unless you guys have any questions, of course, as mentioned, leave that in the comment section. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ding that notification button. Feel free to share my videos with your friends. Any way that I have helped you guys, I would love to hear your feedback. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you again for subscribing to Gigi's Beauty Compound. And I love you guys. Thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, love you guys. Bye-bye.